Kate is recovering from a terrible car accident. Kate doesn't remember her name or how she got into this situation. She feels that her life has been completely turned upside down, and each new day becomes a struggle with her own fears and the unknown. After the accident, Kate ends up in the hospital where doctors explain to her that she has amnesia. Throughout the first few scenes, the viewer watches as she tries to make sense of what is happening around her. She meets a nurse who is caring and several doctors, but Kate feels isolated and lost. The gloomy atmosphere of the hospital and her own fears create tension as she begins to realize that she may have witnessed something terrible. At the hospital, Kate meets Dr. David, a psychiatrist who offers to help her recover her memory. He seems friendly and understanding, and Kate, gripped by anxiety, decides to confide in him. Their first sessions begin with general questions about her life, but she can't remember anything specific. The doctor suggests using techniques that can help her unearth repressed memories. In her first session with Dr. David, Kate experiences fear as she begins to try to recall details of her life. She sees vague images and hears sounds that take her back to moments when she was in the car. As she talks, she begins to surmise that she was not alone and that someone may have been with her at the time of the accident. This realization causes her to panic and her voice shakes as she shares her thoughts. Dr. David, in turn, is patient and supportive. He listens actively, asking further questions, but it soon becomes apparent that his approach to therapy is causing Kate more anxiety than relief. With each session, she begins to realize that her memories are not only slipping away, but are becoming more confusing and painful. She sees fragments of people and places that she can't connect, and this leads to emotional outbursts. Kate decides that she needs to learn more about her life before the accident and starts asking questions of her friends and acquaintances. She meets one of her old friends who seems to know more about her past than he's letting on. He tells her about what she used to be like, but his words contradict the memories she has managed to recover. This becomes another blow to Kate, and she begins to question how much she really knew herself. With each new encounter with Dr. David, her anxiety grows. She notices that he sometimes behaves strangely. For example, in one session he mentions his research into amnesia, but his interest in her case seems excessive. Kate begins to suspect that he may have his own reasons for being involved in her life. This internal conflict between trusting and distrusting the doctor becomes a central theme in their interactions. In one of the sessions, Kate tries to talk about her memories, and as she begins to recount the events that preceded the accident, her voice trembles with fear. She sees a vague image of the person who may have been next to her. This scene is packed with tension, and the viewer can feel Kate begin to lose control of her emotions. In this state of panic, she begins to realize that she may know something important about what has happened, and this knowledge frightens her. The tension culminates when Kate, as she continues her search, encounters an individual who she believes may be connected to the disaster. This person looks familiar, but she cannot remember his name or exactly how he came to be in her life. Each new contact with this individual causes her fear, and the viewer feels her growing anxiety. Kate begins to realize that this could be the same man who was in the car with her on that fateful day. Throughout the film, Kate is forced to confront conflicting stories about herself. One of her acquaintances claims that she was happy, while others hint at the darker aspects of her life. This adds layers to her internal struggle and intensifies her sense of alienation. She tries to make sense of who she used to be, but each step forward leads her to new questions. Her memories lead her to the day of the accident, and here a shocking truth is revealed. Kate is confronted with the results of her own investigation and realizes that her memory holds the key to understanding the events she has tried to forget for so long. This becomes a pivotal moment when she realizes who is really to blame for her condition and what her relationship with that person was. Kate finds the strength to confront her fears and embrace her true self. She takes a step towards recovering not only her memory, but also her life. In this finale, the viewer sees not only victory over inner demons, but also hope for a new beginning despite all the suffering and loss. Kate is confronted with the horrible truth of what happened on the day of the accident. She realizes that the man who was with her in the car was actually connected to her past more deeply than she could have imagined. This discovery leads to a climactic moment when Kate must make difficult decisions related to her safety and future. She finds the strength to confront her fears and expose the true intentions of the people around her. By the end of the film, Kate gains control of her life and begins to recover her memories, which opens her up to a new life and new possibilities, leaving behind the shadow of her past.